Hello and welcome to the 50-cent tour of Monday, May 6th, 2013. Please find a seat on the Liberty Bus and we will begin our tour. The date reminds me May 6th. I don't have a screenshot for this, but May 6th was supposed to be the target day for the Ring of Fire, the nuclear devices that were supposed to be set off as part of false flag terror in the U.S. And we did pray last week and enter a prayer of agreement in Jesus' name. And I'm just thinking about that today and just asking the Lord for peace and no terror in Jesus' name. Go back to the story a little bit, just because this is something that has been so much on my mind and in discussions of this, and people haven't mentioned it all that much, but it's common sense, really. Bloodless femoral arteries. If this happened to somebody, they would be unconscious within a matter of minutes because their blood pressure would drop. Indeed, with wounds so severe, Mr. Bauman would have lost blood pressure and consciousness in a matter of minutes. So just looking at things logically, right? Just applying reason. This thing never made sense to me. And this is why. Because he would have bled out. You would elevate somebody's extremities that were torn, not, and all this man's blood pressure would be pushing right down and flowing right out. So, just a little reminder. Another sad reminder. I have spent the bulk of my years in Ohio, and as a rather young person at that time, a young teenager, I was pretty clueless. And then in the 80s, as I was a mother, whenever I heard the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young song about it, I actually would get nauseous. It's taken me a long time to process this, and politicians in this country, people who want to use it for their own advantage, have harped about what China has done, Tiananmen Square. I'm personally not going to watch this video, but I think that we need to remember sometimes what our government really is capable of. And of course, a lot more people died in 9/11. A lot more people died in Iraq. A lot of people have died all over the world. But this is the very kind of action that our government has always said that they were opposed to, yet they participated in it, and that was 43 years ago. So, where are we now? Google set to unveil subscriptions for specialist YouTube videos. On Alex's website, the question was, do you really want to pay Google? It's a good question. I'm a Netflix fan. I think Netflix, I don't advertise it on my pages or get any kind of compensation for saying anything about them. I just enjoy their scope, and they have a lot of Liberty films available, watch instantly. So I think they're a great equalizer. Anyway, my answer to this is no, I won't be paying Google. I won't be paying YouTube for subscriptions. The less money Google and YouTube and Facebook get, the happier I am. And if there were really viable alternatives, I would probably go to them. In fact, I do use alternatives to Google, always. Are all telephone calls recorded and accessible to the U.S. government? A former FBI counterterrorism agent claims on CNN that this is the case. It's important to remember, even, discussing family things that could be harmful to somebody if the information was out there. Just be careful. I think sometimes if we, there is encrypted mail and email and some things of that nature. I think if we really, really want something to be private, it almost needs to be sent through snail mail. And whenever I send anything, I tape all the seams of the envelope. Call me paranoid. Just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean they're not really out to get me, right? Okay. Obama to Ohio State grads reject voices that warn about government tyranny. So evidently, people are really getting concerned about tyranny, and it's becoming a term that is commonly heard in our culture to the degree that this man has felt that he needed to address people and tell them not to worry about tyranny. So, it's cognitive dissonance, I guess. But anyway, the message is out there. People are aware that tyranny is coming down the pike, and in some places it's already alive and well. Just in, whistleblowers blow lid off BenghaziGate cover-up. This is shaping up to be a scorcher of a congressional hearing. Hopefully the truth will out. And not just about this, but about a lot of the other things that have been hidden. DHS whistleblower labeled domestic terrorist. This is an interesting twist, and the whistleblowers are indeed very dangerous because there is potential here to expose things that have been very deeply hidden. There are people who are in the know, and they've been bought or threatened or whatever reason they find themselves in bad company. The old saying, bad company corrupts good morals. But some people's good morals have not been corrupted, and they want to come forth, and they are coming forth. So, oh, hey, they're domestic terrorists. Right. We all have to be wise enough to not buy that. Netanyahu summoned to China. Cabal Purge begins in UK. This is a great Fulford this week. I recommend, if you're not a subscriber, I recommend looking on YouTube tomorrow, because you can usually find a voice recording of the blog. One of the things that he kind of focused on is the fact that due to the degree of corruption in the U.S. government, the military is probably going to have to become involved in order to have the kind of reform that we need. And the military is understandably hesitant about that, because the military is not known historically, not just our military, but any military, for running governments very well. So if this happens, it has to be obviously short term. But I find it really interesting that Fulford mentioned it, because I think he's generally pretty subtle, and I get the feeling that he often uses this blog to send messages to certain people, because some things are kind of cryptic at times, and I'm wondering what exactly the full meaning of this blog is this week. The Medical Cartel, too big to fail, too evil to expose. Most people generally think that there is sound science behind medicine, behind pharmaceuticals, whatever. And the truth is, there's not. There's just not. And if you are not convinced of that, read the full text of this blog. And if you are in a place where you are aware of the dangers of conventional medicine and the fact that pharmaceuticals are not science-based, you are probably, like us, looking for alternatives. Of course, there are a lot of places to look. There's Natural News, there's Mercola, and this website, Dr. U, has some specific ailments and suggestions for overcoming them. So there are lots of places to turn to if you want to move away from conventional medicine. And I should even say that particularly if you have children, I know you feel very responsible for their well-being, but you know, if you go the conventional medicine route, you're going to, you might come across a doctor who calls CPS when you ask for a second opinion or when you refuse a vaccine or whatever. It's opening a door to invite unwelcome guests into your family. So there's a lot of wisdom and caution that needs to be exercised here, and there are a lot of tremendous naturopaths. It's not as if you have to do this all on your own. If you go looking, you should be able to find a very good chiropractor, naturopath, someone who will help you find healing on a path that is not fraught with all these hidden bombs of potential danger with pharmaceuticals, vaccines, so on and so forth. And because life is stressful in these times, and it's really important, I believe, for aware people to remain peaceful and focused, the 3 ways are listen, feel, and see. But that is really much too much of it cuts it down to too small a piece. It's really best if you find yourself stressed, if you find that you are struggling at times to cope, you might find this helpful. She Who Will Walk in the Dark appreciates your company on today's tour and would like to just state the fact that the dawn is coming. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.